Community connections, CKMS. Local sounds, thoughts, passions, and success. Celebrate local, your neighbor's got a story to tell. Community connections, CKMS.
Happy Monday, Waterloo Region. You're listening to CKMS Community Connections for Monday, the 13th of January, 2025, my first show of the new year. In the studio, just arrived, just coming in the door now, is Jonathan Garlow, who'll be here for a live on-air in-studio performance in just a few minutes. Gotta wait a little bit for him to get set up. So we'll listen to one of his tracks called Baby Baby. This is Vampire Duwop with Jonathan Garlow.
I'm
a brand new track, which is actually not meant to be played on the air. That's Jonathan Garlow, who's in the studio with me now. Welcome to CKMS Community Connections.
Thanks, man. It's great to be here. And Odell's with me.
And we've got Odell in the studio too. Hi, Odell.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Waterloo.
So, had a bit of trouble getting here this morning, huh?
Yeah, well, I wasn't aware of how expansive Waterloo actually is, so this is on the far side of Waterloo for me, and yeah, it took a minute.
Yeah.
And also, I wasn't sure how to get inside of this building. This is sort of like a mall or something.
It used to be a factory. It used to be the Beamer box factory, and so it's an industrial building. Weren't many entrances. I guess they didn't want the employees to leave before the day was up. And so twisty little passages all alike throughout the building. Took me months before I finally got my way around in here. So
We made it.
you made it though. Good to hear.
Yeah, we made it.
We used our senses.
So yeah, it's quite an honor to be here. Our band Vampire Duwop is pretty new. We started last year, and we spent most of last year doing our best to self-promote, and we released 2 EPs. One in the summer and one right on Devil's Night before Halloween. And Vampire Duwop is a project and a passion very close to my heart.
Yeah. We only got the 2 tracks from you at the moment, Baby Baby and the track we just played.
Yeah, Some Kind of Hate.
Some Kind of Hate, that you're going to be playing again for us in the studio at some point today.
Yeah, I'm ready to perform a couple songs. I was pretty surprised you wanted like more than one,
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is it's an hour-long show, so we can fill it up with maybe 20 tracks if you've got that stuff in your catalog.
Yeah, we're gonna send you the rest of the instrumentals, but we were just like in a panic to get here, so we'll get those over to you right away.
Okay.
And I'm excited to be here, Bob.
Yeah, good to have you here. Yeah. So what started up Vampire Duwop then? That's new band you said for Halloween.
Yeah, well, I think what started Vampire Duwop is just our desire to express our passions, and our main slogan and our sort of raison d'etre for being is actually embrace yourself. So our pose that we do in social media is sort of like the sort of the corpse pose,
crossed arms, hands on the shoulders,
the sleeping vampire, but it's come to mean like embracing yourself as a person, because that's really what this journey is about for me. And we're writing science fiction novel backstory to our band, and that's sort of one of the driving forces is me embracing everything that I thought was cool in the 90s. Because I've done this before. I think the audience should know that I self-produced my own rap albums as an indigenous producer in the 90s, and I'm credited with being one of the founders of indigenous rap.
Indigenous rap.
Yeah.
That's actually quite popular. Got a number of tracks from other
It is now. It is now. But there's actually adversity on the reserve. People
Really?
thought that I should be doing my own kind of music, and even elders were questioning me, asking me why I was trying to be black, like publicly shaming me and stuff. So I'm credited with True Res Crew, along with War Party, as being the very first rap artists of indigenous ancestry in all of Canada.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You're right up there with a bunch of other fairly famous rappers. There's Quentin Cumbo, Q052.
Yeah.
Played a lot of stuff by him.
Cool.
Yeah, Gentle Bear, I think. We've got some of his stuff. Yeah, we've got a fair bit of stuff. So glad to have you on board and in our library to provide, more indigenous content.
Thank you so much, Bob. And you're somewhat of a prophet in a way, because in those days when we first were releasing our music, not everyone got it. It was a certain taste, an acquired taste that not everyone had. And that's the similarity with Vampire Duwop, as I can tell that we're sort of blazing a new trail here with mixing genres that aren't supposed to be together. And
that's the creativity, though.
Yeah, or maybe they are supposed to be together. Like, we know like some of the history, and like history repeats itself.
It was a culture, I think, of the mashup, between the two genres.
Yeah, that's a really popular thing too, the mashups. So
Yeah.
if you can do it live, kudos to you for that.
Right. Thank you. Well, we'll see about that.
Well, I've sent you over some more emails as well, but we can start with some kind of hate. If you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready to
Yep.
perform here in the.
So
readiness.
what we heard just at the start of the show was the backing track, which I didn't realize was a backing track.
That's all right. I didn't communicate it properly. You want this for the?
I don't know, what mic should I use, Bob?
That mic's probably good enough. You've got the amplifier going in the studio.
So
Yeah.
I have no doubt that your guitar will be picked up with no trouble at all by the microphones.
Yeah, that's
if need
good.
be, I'll swing my mic over to you.
Do you want a pair of these?
But I think
Oh,
you're
yeah.
probably okay.
How's the volume on it?
Just
right.
getting
Oh, yeah. It's pretty
a
hot.
little bit of setup here. Yeah, so this is your volume control right
Okay.
here. If you need to
That's
adjust.
great. That's great.
If you're ready to go, then I can start that backing track again.
Sure.
All right.
Let's go.
Some Kind of Hate, live in the studio. Jonathan Garlow and Adele.
Some kind of love, well, there's some kind of hate. Remains in the art of love and copulate. Well, I said, whoa. Well, I said, whoa. Well, I said, whoa. I said, whoa. I said, whoa. I said, whoa. That word Duwop beat. Some kind of love, there's some kind of hate. Let me tell you what I'm gonna do. Ladies in the eye of love, copulate. Well, I said, whoa. Well, I said, whoa. Well, I said, whoa. I said, whoa. I have to get this. Yeah.
Never done that before. Used a backing track with a live performance in here. So
Yeah, cool.
Hopefully that came out okay over the airwaves.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm gonna get my guitar out in a bit.
So who was on the backing track? You have a full band behind you when you're recording?
Well, that's the thing is, everything is done either by me or Odell. So we perform and record together, and the recordings are it's us playing the parts individually, but I would like to get a band, and have a full like rock band, and we actually want to make an entire opera, sort of a theater performance,
Okay.
actually.
Based on the theme of the science fiction.
Yeah, the science
backstory.
fiction. So, really, we want to see Afro-Indigenous characters as the main characters set in science fiction future.
Okay.
The future in space,
Yeah.
Cyberpunk opera.
Yeah, a cyberpunk opera. And so we've got some really great news right from the beginning of the year. It looks like we're eligible for quite a few grants.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we've been put in touch with a grant writer, Pierre. Shout out to Pierre.
Shout out.
Through our friend Logan Stotts, who knows is in the music business and has
Okay.
give us a helping hand. And shout out to Logan too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his new album?
Yeah, he's working. Actually, Logan's recording a new album right now. He's in the studio at Jukasa. We have our
Okay, yeah.
world quality studio on Six Nations Reserve.
Yeah, I've heard of Jukasa.
Yeah,
There's,
it's
other,
Jukasa. Yeah,
other musicians who've used that studio.
Oh,
there.
many.
Shout-outs to Ka-
many.
to
Yeah,
Casa.
Darren and Jill
Shout out
there.
Six Nations.
Yeah, shout out. Darren and Jill there are Juno Award winners, and so they've won I think 3 or 4 out of there, and we recorded one of our EPs there in the summer, and it was a wonderful process. And it's they have a magical console that comes from Abbey Road Studio.
Oh,
Number 2 actually.
Stuff with a bit of history.
Yeah, we found out exactly which bands recorded through that board, and it wasn't the Beatles because it was in a different side studio.
Okay.
But Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon was recorded on it, which I love that album.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. That's a favorite.
And so I think there might be a little bit of magic or juju or maybe some to go on that board, and it really makes a difference, I think. So it sounds smooth.
It does.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if you've got an opera planned, that would make some great radio theater. I mean, I'm being purely selfish here, but I'd love to hear some radio theater on the airwaves.
If you're open to experimentation at another time, we could begin and have a little bit of dialogue in between these songs, because that's our ultimate idea, is to start weaving our song choices together, because it's a little bit of sound selecta where we are doing covers, but we're putting our own twist to them.
Okay.
Where a lot of times people might not even really know it's a cover if they're not familiar with the original.
Right.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to bring back the 1940s radio.
Okay.
All the soaps, all the serials.
Well, that's what we are, as a throwback, hence the Duwop sort of name, is where we want to get back to some of these old-timey things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we have a wonderful partnership working out here.
Wow, yeah, that could be quite interesting.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm interested to know what the listeners think. That's one of the best parts of being here is we've been on a little bit of radio on Six Nations, but here and there on the internet we're on things, and we've done our own promotion. But it's I'm interested to see how the public takes to some of this stuff, because we've consciously made a decision to use some louder guitars than is really popular right now, in mainstream radio at least. But we're going in that direction consciously.
Just having a quick look at the other tracks that Odell sent to me, and need some access to the Google Drive in order to be able to.
Yeah, maybe just do a request there, and then that will go through, and then it can be granted.
Okay. Yeah. So the throwback to the 1940s, brought up to modern day standards with a bit of science fiction, and indigenous storytelling in there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge part of it. Is I've been entrusted with a lot of knowledge from my elders. Throughout my 20s and 30s, I had to seek out my indigenous elders and ask, for teachings.
Okay.
And so I have that, and it's almost become a burden or a responsibility. I should say, not burden, but a responsibility of mine. We need the access there, Dave. Bob, sorry, bro.
Okay.
The next song I'd like to do is "Boys Don't Cry," if you can find it.
Okay, let's go and have a look there. Boys Don't Cry isn't on the list, so we've got enough to cry.
Yeah, that's a John Moreland song.
Double feature, Baby Baby.
Okay,
those are the 4 that I've got in here at the moment. So
should have sent them all there.
Well,
what do we got here? Vampire Duwop Live, that's another enough to cry, so yeah.
Yeah, we just need the Boys Don't Cry. I'll see if I have it.
We'll get this figured out.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if you want to start off with another track, or I could play something from the list that you've provided me here, and then we can catch up on the live performance portion of that in a bit.
Well, I could sing one of those ones for now.
Okay.
Let's do Baby Baby, I guess, because you guys have that one here.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing this, man.
It's always good to have another one that needs access.
Yeah.
So just click on the request access button and see how that comes through.
Yeah, I love science fiction, and we actually did a cover of a science fiction double feature, which is from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I was thinking that.
And Rocky Horror Picture Show is awesome, it's got it all. And so that's somewhat of an inspiration for me to try to write my own indigenous space opera. Okay. And, there's going to be a battle between good and evil, and there's going to be betrayal, and there's going to be like a love interest, and there's going to be vampires and swords, samurai swords, and armor, and
Gundams.
magic.
Not just
Gundams,
Not just a mashup of musical genres, but a mashup of literary things.
Yes. It'll be an epic, so an indigenous, Afro-indigenous space opera epic, and this is the beginning of the saga right now, actually.
The start of it already.
It's the start of it already.
All right, I have the track for Baby Baby queued up. Ready to go on that?
All right, let's go.
Okay, Jonathan, Garlow, and Adele in the studio. Baby Baby. Jonathan, Garlow, and Adele in the studio.
Yeah, it was all right. That was all right.
Yeah.
It went smooth.
Yeah.
A little tough determining how well the mix is going, but...
Yeah, I think it was great.
All right.
Something that inspires me is artists throughout the 80s and 90s who use the digital realm to just be their own artist, and do all of the parts. I'm thinking of Prince or maybe Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
And I guess anyone who watched the movie Ray knows it kind of started with him by doing his own overdubs, right? With technology allowing you to do these things. And because it's set far in the future, the idea is that these eternal vampires are traveling at light speed. And if you've ever traveled at light speed before, Bob, you'll actually find out that it's actually pretty slow.
Is it pretty slow?
Yeah, when you're trying to go across the infinite universe, or the nearly infinite universe.
The relativity effects taking
it takes a while to get certain places.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the idea is these vampires are passing the time as they did in the Longhouse eons ago before Earth was destroyed. on a place called Earth.
Uh-huh.
And so they remember passing the long winters by using storytelling. Okay. And so I don't know if you've ever watched How to Make an American Quilt, but like sitting around a table sharing these like detailed stories that are like of character and of moral value. That's what's going to happen in the greatest stories of all time, with battles with giants and cyber demons and such. You know, will keep you riveted.
And all from indigenous origins.
All from indigenous origins, the way that we would have shared through the long winter. And another thing is we're just going to use indigenous concepts and words. Like instead of family, we're going to use the word aguajale.
Okay.
Aguajale. Aguajale.
Yeah. Aguajale.
And that's Mohawk. It's for your family, and it got translated to English as clan, which is more of a Scottish word. And if you look that up in the dictionary, it means kin, like blood kin.
Okay.
Which, you know, family, blood kin. Uh-huh. But the word aguajale actually translates to her fire, as in the fire that keeps you warm at night in the longhouse. All and right. So it's the people who sleep with, like, beside you in like your neighbors, you know, your family neighbors who are people you trust around your fire to eat with and sleep beside, and who you trust. So that's your true family. It doesn't have to be by blood, because people marry in, you know, and marriage and also adoption, where not everyone has to be related by blood. And so it's a central theme of Vampire Duwop and our story. Yeah, the community. For our little clan of vampires that travel together in their spaceship Lickle Bloodclot throughout the galaxy. That's the name of our spaceship. Our spaceship. Our spaceship also has an identity. The consciousness of my deceased brother was transplanted into our vehicle, and so
spaceship.
It can transform into a large Gundam for battles. You know, when we're fighting against super large stellar creatures.
Yeah, you have to tell me what a Gundam is.
Oh, that's like basically a super large transformer. Like some of them as big as like perhaps a planet. Or half of the size of a planet. They could be super
mechanical
huge.
Beings.
Yeah.
A spirit in them, or?
Well, not all. Usually they're piloted by a human.
Okay.
But ours is is something we thought of ourselves.
Yeah. Like we could load up intelligence.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's the soul of like a ghost in the shell, the soul of my deceased brother, who we've kept alive, and his consciousness is there, and his body though is this mechanical ship that we live in and fly in, and we fight beside as well. And We've been working on our story for quite some time, and I'm excited to be bringing it to life. You know, even talking about it, and we have grants, and we're going to be bringing it to life through maybe comic books at first. Because, you know, like I've been saying before, I had a punk band in 1994, and the spirit of punk is DIY, do it yourself.
Absolutely.
And so that's something I learned early on. Is I didn't have a mentor or much of anything. But there was a man from Burlington, actually, his name was Imance Crummins.
Imance! Holy mackerel. I used to work with Imance at CFMU, at Master Radio.
Small world.
A small world.
Wow. Bless his soul. He's passed on.
Has he? I didn't know that.
He has passed on. But he would come to our shows in Burlington, and we'd open up. My punk band was named Outcast, and we had songs, and we had a little. We wanted to put out a vinyl record, and he financed and produced our first record, which is to this day on Discogs. It's called Arg, a Brantford compilation. And could you find Boys Don't Cry, Odie, and send it through?
I've been trying to.
The live performance one.
Everybody busy looking at their files in the cloud someplace, trying to get them from the cloud onto the radio.
Give them back.
Yeah, we have it here somewhere.
We'll get some more music happening in the studio in just a bit. So that's really interesting. I haven't seen Imance in 40 years perhaps. So sorry to hear that he's passed.
Yeah,
but,
that's.
He had a record shop in Toronto for a while too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a brilliant soul, a brilliant man, and he had a giant record collection. And he believed in my band. He would come out. He was so tall, and he was gray-haired, and he didn't. You wouldn't think that he was someone who would even. He had glasses. You know, he didn't seem like he'd be into hardcore punk rock.
Oh, no.
But he loved all music, and he he knew there was something special about us, and so we put out a Brantford compilation with 4 different Brantford bands, including the Twerps, Mistaken Identity, Mistaken Conspiracy, Outcast, my band, and now I have to remember the third band.
Does any of that music still exist?
Just on Discogs, you can still get the vinyl record. It's still, it's available. We put out, I think, 1,000 of them, and Immense, he funded it. It wouldn't have happened without Immense. Right. And actually, Derek Dykeman from Burlington as well. Derek Dykeman from Soap and Spikes, and we called it Soap and Spikes. Called it.
All right.
And that was formative. The do-it-yourself attitude of just like, wow, we can just And my dad owned a print shop on the res, so like I printed on offset press the covers for the vinyl record, and
definitely
like we scored it and cut it ourselves, and so it was totally do it yourself right from the ink up. Yeah. And so that's what we're doing with Vampire Duwop is like I'm not able to make my full 3-part trilogy Lord of the Rings style movie yet, but we're starting a bit at a time, and we're doing what we can, and me and Odell have been doing music together since the 90s. I've recorded Odell before. She was a rapper by the name of Isis before.
Very long
really?
time ago.
And that was before 9/11. It was just the goddess, the Egyptian goddess Isis.
Yes.
ISIS.
Osiris. Yep.
Right, and the 9/11 sort of ruined that name.
Didn't want to keep that on my Yahoo.
Exactly. So you've got.
I've sent it through.
There it is at the top. I see it now.
All right.
So I should talk about this a bit. I wanted to do something a bit different. Most of our guitars have pretty loud guitar, but this is something that I learned through Derek Dykeman and Immense Crummins and doing shows in Burlington. Is it would always open up with Rock Steady, which was the pre-Bob Marley lovers rock reggae.
Okay. Yeah.
And all shows would start with that. And I realized the reason why they did that was they did that to weed out the serious skinhead presence in those days.
Oh, really?
And I would sort of weed them out to let them know, like, we're not about that here. Okay. And I saw actual physical fist fight battles between sharps, which are the skinheads against racial prejudice.
Okay.
And
wow, that's
super violent, like skinheads. I watched that go down in Burlington.
At the shows where you were
and we'd be setting up and be like, oh snap, and like 2 of us were visibly indigenous. I'm like, this is kind of frightening. Yeah. But we'd be setting our amps up, and that would be going down. But that's why they would play reggae music at the beginning, and I grew to see that if you look at the history with the diaspora of Afro-Indigenous people from Jamaica going to England in the 60s, like
Afro-European.
The skinhead rude boy connection is there. Culture. And then the Clash caught on to it, and other punk bands like were formed by it. Hearing that thing, and actually punk rock comes from reggae, is what I'm trying to say. This is a long-winded.
Okay.
I discovered that punk rock actually comes from reggae music, literally, and the staccato hits of the bass going boom, 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 boom. Really? Johnny Ramone heard that and started downpicking punk rock.
That's where punk rock came from. So everything is derivative. Everything comes from somewhere else.
Everything is inspired by everything else. But one thing I'd like to mention before. I'd like to get into after maybe Boys Don't Cry is the indigenous connections to rock and roll and hip hop. There's a movie that came out talking about the indigenous connections to rock and roll. It's called Rumble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seen that?
Yeah. Yeah, that was produced by guys from my reserve, Six Nations, and the Robbie Robertson influence. And I'd like to take it back even a bit further. I heard a guy named Ernie Panicoli, who was an indigenous photographer for the Source magazine, and he's photographed Biggie Smalls and Tupac and all that in the 90s. But he went on record saying that hip-hop is an indigenous art form because it evolved here in our land, on our soil. Really? And that was quite a provocative statement, he said. And he said, we've been doing hip-hop for thousands of years because the powwow drum is in 4/4 timing. And so, like, Mozart is in, like, maybe 5/16 or something, and that's what was going on over there. But we were rocking out over here on 4/4 timing while that was happening.
That's the basis of rock and roll.
There you go. Yeah. So, yeah. Something to think about. And that's somewhat inspiring for me to continue in this direction.
Keep up the tradition with modern music, modern themes, modern lyrics.
Absolutely. I guess like I could tell it right now. We could do a little bit of theater right now. But if you and the listeners could just imagine there's vampires sitting around in a circle, and they're in hyperspace traveling, and they're trying to kill some time. And so the vampire schema comes up, and it's his turn, and he pulls out a dusty relic. It's an old Jackson guitar, and he says, so yeah, this is from a place called Earth. It's turned into an asteroid belt now, but we carry the songs of Earth. And there was something called rock and roll, and there was a band called The Cure, and this is my best attempt of recreating that band right now for you guys while you're listening here.
Jonathan, Garlow, and Odell in the studio, live on air in studio performances.
Yeah,
That's a cover.
Yeah, it was a cover. The Cure, "Boys Don't Cry," and I tried to give it
brand new cover.
A brand new cover. That's the first time it's ever been played.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and actually, it's coming out on Valentine's Day. So if you like that song, I'll be sending it to you, Bob.
Excellent.
Maybe I actually could send you over an advance copy.
All right. Valentine's Day is on a Friday. We have an episode of Community Connections airing on Friday, and we actually got Ritika Sharmali,
who
is sending out love songs to people from the Civic Hub, a social justice group that has anti-poverty people, housing advocates, renoviction support people.
Oh, awesome.
So love songs going out to social justice advocates.
That's
and I think
beautiful.
We can add your song to that list.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So good to hear.
Yeah.
That's for a great cause, too.
Yeah. Riddick will be in the studio later on this afternoon. She's got her show on at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So if you're around, maybe, introduce yourself.
Sure.
If you can stick around that long.
That's 1 o'clock. Yeah.
So you've got backing tracks that we're playing here in the studio.
Yeah.
How does that work if you're doing live performances?
Yeah, so we've performed 3 times in Toronto last year. We opened up for Insane Clown Posse at Adelaide Hall.
Okay.
And because we're there with other rap groups, as long as we're with other rap groups, no one bats an eye. No one bats an eye. To them, it's just the same as all the other rappers who have their instrumental track.
Okay.
And we just grab the mic there and just rock it. And then we should mention that we also have 2 other members.
Yeah. Kenny Mac and Nas Insidious.
Yeah, Kenny Mac and Nos Insidious. You could at Kenny Mac. She's actually
She's
a
comedian
superstar.
too.
She's an Indigenous comedian superstar
Okay.
on social media. She has thousands and thousands of followers.
Okay. And recorded stuff that we could add to our library?
Yeah, we're all in a couple Beastie Boys songs we did over the summer.
Ah.
We did a couple Beastie Boys covers to add a
Okay.
little bit of party anthem to Vampire Duwop because it's really going to be a lot about partying. Basically, a little bit of some excellent adventure.
All right, yeah. It goes for anybody, really. Anybody's listening, if you've got musical tracks that you want to have aired on the radio, send them our way. Send them to office@radiowaterloo.ca, and our music coordinator, Richard Giles, will comb his way through the thousands of messages in the inbox and get your music on the air.
Yeah, and I really recommend it. I recommend you do. If you believe in yourself, just send it.
Yeah. And then, if things go well, come on the radio station, into the studio, do a live on-air performance.
Yeah. This has been a real treat. We've been having rehearsals, and we haven't performed since the one yacht show. We did a yacht show in Toronto.
What's a yacht show?
It's where a yacht is rented out and people sell tickets, and there's many performances and DJs on a couple different floors.
Like a music cruise.
Yeah, a music cruise.
All right.
For about 3 hours in Toronto Harbor.
Oh, that's all right.
Makes for some great selfies and social media with the skyline there.
Yeah, I'll
We
bet.
also opened in London for a performer from Cypress Hill, was it? Was it Cypress Hill or...
Yeah. Yeah, we opened in London too.
I forgot about that.
Right.
Got anything planned in the near future?
Well, I'm excited to release Boys Don't Cry on Valentine's. But currently we're working on Odell's EP because we have 3 EPs, 2 EPs released and 3 planned. So we're working on the final our final EP before we're going to do a full album release. And like I said, we're going to go for grants. I think that we have a good chance at getting them.
We're in the process of that, so more merch on them.
Yeah, we're going to make some
Okay.
merch. We have stickers to give to you, Bob, actually.
Love
We
stickers.
have lots of stickers for you in the car. And also, another thing is, we want to have a music video.
Okay.
We're trying to create a strong image, right? A lot of it is because I do want to see Afro-Indigenous characters in space. We have to start by making our own... there we go, Bob. Awesome.
Oh.
Stickers there.
Vampire Duwop stickers.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's cool.
That is pretty darn amazing.
And yeah, and so it's the beginnings of bringing my vision into life, and there's many layers to our story. It's a way to share our Afro-Indigenous culture because Odell, we're both Afro-Indigenous. We should talk about our DNA. We did our DNA test, and we're sort of complementary. We have equal amounts in the opposite way.
Okay.
Where I've found all 4 of my grandparents are from the reserve. Okay, Bob.
Okay.
So it was maybe not surprising. I've told people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can see that." But I have 2 separate African or Afro-Indigenous ancestors who are from East and West Africa, and none of my parents. My mom has passed, but my dad has no idea where that could be from. And I looked into my own genealogy, and I found that I'm a direct descendant of John Garlow, who came here with Joseph Brant in 1784.
Oh my.
So I'm from the Mohawk Loyalists, and we vowed to keep our treaty with the Queen's people, as we called it.
All right.
And I've repelled the evil Americans in 1812 or 1815 at Queenston Heights.
Okay.
And helped maintain the borders. So me and my ancestors actually, are responsible for that. And there was also another insurrection in the mid 1800s that not many people know about. That
Tell
they
me.
sent the Mohawks. I think it was 1848, 1868. It was before Confederation. There was an uprising in Ontario of people who were trying to rebel, and the Mohawk warriors were sent out amongst all their loyalists to quell the rebellion.
There was a lot of cooperation between the loyalist forces and the local indigenous peoples.
Yeah. And it's because this isn't something that's been entrusted to me that I'd like to tell through Vampire Duwop when we get into our tales, but there was the Haldeman Promise. Sir Frederick Haldeman, everyone knows about the tract that is Six Nations, but before the war started, we secured a promise from the king, or I suppose, to secure lands that we could enjoy the same way that we enjoyed them in Mohawk Valley. So we were forfeiting those lands, we knew, but we asked to be compensated for the equal amount in value in Grand River.
Right.
And so that's sort of the formation of Six Nations and Canada. So that's a heritage moment we just had there.
Yeah.
It is.
Need that theme music in the background.
Yeah, I wish I could play it on electric. I brought the guitar in. I'm not so gifted to be able to play and sing at the same time. I usually track them separately.
Okay.
You might notice, but that is me playing guitar there on all of the recordings. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice guitar. Very, very sleek and black looking.
I thought it was like the most
shiny
vampire. It was the most vampire-y guitar I could find.
And you have a cool thing plugged into the side there. It's got little blue lights on it, so that's pretty impressive looking.
Yeah, it's wireless, I want to embrace the futuristic theme.
Wireless guitar, and you've got the other part of that plugged into the amplifier, so
Yep.
you're not encumbered by the cords. Of course, we make you wear a headphone here in the studio, so you're still attached to the wire. But
Pretty
good at that.
Rock and roll, man.
it's got a nice sound to it.
I love this guitar, and I think just to me, I just kind of love the '80s metal and punk and rock and roll, and that's what I grew up on. Was I don't know, getting my mind blown by AC/DC, Shook Me All Night Long. That was my sort of first exposure to rock and roll, and I loved the sound, and there's so much pressure, Bob, when you're an Indigenous artist from the reserve to sort of conform to what you think the audience or Canada or the funders want to hear. It's almost like, okay, we got to go get the feathers and the beads, that's what they need. Yeah. It makes them feel good.
So if you're a rock and roll, a punk musician,
right,
it doesn't fit that mold that the funders envision.
It was me trying to with my Marshall stack, trying to play Misfits songs on Six Nations in 1993 was almost like the moment in Back to the Future where he has the guitar and he goes into metal and it's just too much for their minds.
Yes.
And so it just wasn't the sound, and I don't even know if it still is. I think it's now is the time. I was watching hockey with my dad. I don't usually watch hockey, but they were playing the Ramones on there, Blitzkrieg Bop, in between songs. I'm like, okay, people aren't scared of the guitar now.
Right. So your time has come.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Everything that I thought was right in the 90s was right. I just was in the wrong time.
Yeah. And now you're in the process of producing this rock punk Indigenous opera.
Yes.
And is there an end to it, or will the stories just keep on coming forever?
No, there'll be a nice resolve.
Okay.
You know, I want a story character arc of a love interest, and it starts with a betrayal, and then a love blossoms by accident, and then you know, then there's a little bit of murkiness, unsureness, a bit of doubt enters in, and then there's sort of a separation, and then some of these lonely songs are sang. Where I don't know if you ever watch Fievel Goes West, but that little mouse, he's sitting there looking at the moon, and he's like, somewhere out there. Like, I make an Odie crack up. And it's just the most loneliest thing a little child could ever see. Either that, or like where the dinosaur dies, and the other one where the dinosaur mom dies.
Yes.
Land Before Time.
Land Before Time.
That's it. Oh, that was so sad.
It's one of those two. It's like, you know, you're just a little kid, and then like me, I didn't know this, but like I was racked with trauma and sadness. Like I'm going to trauma dump here, so everyone here, just a warning.
I was an adult when I saw that, and I was racked by trauma. So.
Well, I had a friend who passed away when I was only 5, and I didn't. The permanence of death was really real at that age, you know. So I was afraid. I was like, oh man, death can happen. Like that's scary. And then, you know, that sort of makes a lot of these like scary 80s things hit harder, you know.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think like I want to capture some of that. You know, it's like I lived it for a reason. You know, and so I think this Vampire Duwop project really gives me a lot of reason for my suffering. I think to be able to share it with a mass audience of the actual like hard loneliness, hard sadness. You know, these complex emotions.
Cold winters.
yeah, cold winters. Yeah, exactly. No, that's true. Yeah. It takes time to be able to unfold why it's so sad.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, trauma upon trauma. Double heartbreak and then a betrayal, you know, and then the song, you know, Enough to Cry, I think would be a good one, apt to try here.
Okay.
Which you know, I think
Beautiful song.
This is a departure too. Like this one is actually a folk song originally, and it's by an artist named John Moreland. And so I just heard it one time, and it's not punk, but I think that's the fun thing about us is like our first successful song was a reggae song from 1960s by Alton Ellis called Let Him Try. And there's been a lot of remakes since then, but we gave it a shot, and it was very successful. Like it had heavy bass. Well, I'll send it to you, Bob.
Okay,
yeah.
Do that, yeah.
But that was, and so after that we knew it was good to try mixing genres together. So this one's a folk song, and my friend Logan actually hears my demos, and he kind of encourages me on some songs. And he's like, John, you should do this one. You can do this one. And he liked it. So, you know, here it is. I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Is that what you're playing now? Enough to Cry?
Yeah, Enough to Cry.
Right. It's Jonathan Garlow and Odell in the studio playing Enough to Cry.
Can I stand, Bob?
Yeah, sure.
Here, Odie, take this. Yeah. Come down from your mountain. Oh, I miss your holy shouting. These days I can't make you make a sound. Take me to the times when we look up to the skies and climb up there and draw the thunder down. Now I'm forcing myself into what you've already been through. But darling, I can't help the way I feel. You need something stronger, a drug to kill the hunger, ease the awful pain of living here. And I'm the kind of love it hurts to look at. Maybe we should take it aside. I'm strung out on you, exalting all my demons, and you don't care for me enough to cry. you'll care for me enough to cry.
Jonathan Garlow in the studio for CKMS Community Connections. That is wonderful. That's a heart tugger.
That one's all heart, you know. Back in the True Res days, we used to have a saying with each other after recording, is we'd say to each other, all heart. That was just all heart, you know.
Yeah.
And as little res kids, like, we didn't really have any mentors to show us recording. Like, I remember 4 tracks or trying to record on cassette tapes, if anyone remembers that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm showing my age here. But, you know, we just had to teach ourselves and encourage ourselves, and we were buddies who just encouraged each other to just keep going. And we might not have had the skills, but we had the heart. And that's what do-it-yourself is, and anyone can do
punk.
it.
That's punk.
That's punk.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a long time as well.
Yeah. Say, Odie. Remember, when do you first remember seeing me?
I would have to say...
The scene or recording together with Boswell?
It would have been 1996.
Oh, that does take you back a ways.
About 98.
Okay.
1998.
Shouldn't admit to that, because...
Well,
No,
that's a
actually.
long time. We were young.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've aged gracefully.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Besides, vampires don't age.
Vampires don't age. Vampires live forever. Absolutely.
Beige don't age.
Oh, and a good T-shirt. Wearing a Rocky Horror Picture Show T-shirt with the lips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we really got our T-shirts today. It's a big T-shirt day. Odell's got the Cannibal Corpse shirt, which I think is sick.
Oh yeah. Cannibal Corpse on Adele.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I think the hour is just about up.
Wow.
You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to come back and probably do this again.
Sure, we'd love
Anytime.
to. We'd love to be back here, and we'll send you through some of the songs we performed. And if anyone liked us, we're on Spotify. All those songs, except for "Boys Don't Cry," are all on our Spotify.
Yeah.
And also our social media is at Vampire Duwop on everything.
Vampire_Duwop on IG, Instagram.
We'll have it all in the show notes.
Oh,
Thank
awesome.
you.
And that'll
Thank
be
you so
online.
much, Bob, for having
you're
us here.
very welcome. You're very welcome. Been listening to CKMS Community Connections on Radio Waterloo. My name is Bob Jonkman.
For the community and about the community. You can read the show notes at radiowaterloo.ca/ccc, read the music lists, hear the past episodes, and subscribe to the podcast. Our executive producer is Jennifer Strong. Contributing producers are Jeff Stager, Dylan Bravener, and Steve Todd, who also wrote and performed our opening theme music. CKMS Community Connections airs every Monday from 11 a.m. to noon, and also on Fridays from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.